Looks like everything's going okay. Alrighty, so hello and welcome to a Dungeons 2 stream. Hey Kitty King, welcome to the stream. I'm joined by Sanguine Dream, assuming he has his thing set to a share voice.
I'm here. I'm pretty sure it's already all set. Let me double check. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
So this game was on sale. Sanguine is familiar with the series and plays it a lot, so I figured, hey, I'll get this game, see what all the fuss is about. It was on sale for $10, so why not? Single player. Ooh, there's a campaign.
Yes, it was one of the things that made me enjoy it. Because it's for a real-time strategy, it's just legitimately funny.
It was time. The troops of the Absolute Evil had driven the Alliance back to their capital, King's Ending.
Funny feeling that Matt's
The time for the final battle had arrived. Prepare to destroy the Alliance, and with it, all good in the land, once and for all.
The Battle for King's Landing. Okay, first things first. I need to change the audio because holy shit, the narrator is loud. Hey, well, welcome to the stream.
It was time. The troops of the Absolute Evil had driven the Alliance back to their capital, King's Ending. The time for the final battle had arrived. Prepare to destroy the Alliance,
Hello.
and with it, all good in the land, once and for all. Once upon a time, there was a kingdom full of flowers and rainbows, where the sun shone all the time, and there was loads of that goody-goody, lovey-dovey, good people stuff going. People lived in unearned wealth and prosperity. But there was a path leading to a different place there. At the end of this path was a rock. There was a cave carved in this rock in which the Absolute Evil lived. It wasn't a grubby, damp cave smelling of muck and mildew, but a deep, dark dungeon, so dark that even darkness itself was afraid of it. It was home to numerous innocent monsters who enjoyed a happy, contented existence, living in complete harmony with their environment. But time and again, the sickening, sweet-smelling
Yep, Sanguine's in the chat.
in search of treasure and experience points. Many monsters found this to be the
Well,
devil,
in the voice chat.
but much worse, the Absolute Evil's treasures were being stolen. One day, just as a few more heroes had finished plundering its dungeon, the Absolute Evil decided it had had enough, and decided to do something new, something quite monstrous. Go to the surface. The Alliance tried to resist, but the approaching horde just flowed over them like an angry wave of axes, teeth, and bad breath. After numerous unrelenting battles, the Absolute Evil finally stood before the Alliance's capital, King's Ending.
Openings.
Huh, cool.
remnants of the forces of good.
Holy
had come
shit,
to
those
make ready
subtitles
for
are
the
tiny.
final battle. Evil would pay a high price indeed to storm those fortress walls.
That they are. Subtitles are pretty much just the normal.
Suddenly, a rumble rose from deep within the earth. Stones burst asunder, revealing an ancient path into the depths. Out of the depths of Stygian darkness arises the invincible evil. With earth-shaking steps, the unstoppable evil began its trek towards the front. In the terribly improbable event that it may have forgotten how that works, a formidable help function has been provided.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely hearing Sanguine as well. Hold on. No, not that.
Sorry, let me adjust the thing.
I think I might turn the game volume down. I have no idea what I'm doing.
50%, but
I said, with earth-shaking steps, the unstoppable, if somewhat sluggish evil began its trek towards the front.
Oh.
The presence of the absolute evil was also reflected in the land itself. Grass withered, and in places the ground tore open to reveal bubbling lava. Even the forest could not withstand the aura of the ultimate, and beat a hasty retreat. A few of the Alliance units had entrenched themselves here. A determined absolute evil marched towards them in order to strike them down with its mighty weapon. The absolute evil had discovered a medal. These legendary awards ensured a creature could be made even more powerful. Only one power.
Hi, Michael. Welcome to the stream.
Eyes ablaze with greed, the insidious evil gazed upon the blood-drenched battlefield. Here the last defenders of good would die, and an age of evil begin. Projectiles from the Alliance's catapults darkened the sky, but the Horde's fighting skills were at their best in darkness, if they survived. Absolute evil strode like a war god through the defenders' ranks and smote them with ease to the ground. The forces of good never had a chance against the absolute evil. And the absolute evil took yet another hit.
I don't remember what happens when the first time you see a unicorn. I'll have to rebuy this one, because 2 was great.
The absolute evil destroyed the defenders' camp in the west with the greatest of ease. Now, only one tiny camp offers any resistance to the absurdly evil evil.
Okay, the narrator is actually really cool. I like this.
Oh yeah, narrator is probably the
Ooh, I
best
can
part of
zoom
the
in.
series.
Yay.
No, this is the RTS portion. This is your overworld. You haven't gotten to the underworld yet.
Defeating good was as easy as taking candy from a baby for the unstoppable evil. The absolute evil destroyed the defenders' camp in the east with the greatest of ease. The defenders in front of the city had been beaten to a pulp and defeated. Now the time had come to attack King's Ending, the final battle. Rather than taking the fastest route to the city gate, they didn't want to keep the defenders shaking in their boots with fear.
That's because I don't. Oh. Is that where I'm supposed to go?
The city gate was firmly barricaded by the Alliance's archers, but the absolute evil would not allow itself to be held up by such ridiculous impediment. So, go get them! Destroy them now! Sorry, stay in. The absolute evil used its all-powerful magic to eliminate the archers and open the gate to the city. The absolute evil had a good long think, but at precisely that exact moment, it decided to act and to deploy its overwhelming magic powers.
How do I use my magic powers?
Let me see here. Oh, try
Fallacy. It would appear that the distracted evil was not aware that it should use one of its powers here, something that could have been done with ease via the GUI. If in doubt, the formidable help utility could also have been consulted on the matter. Secretly, the confused evil was debating whether it wouldn't be much nicer to watch a series of My Little Unicorn. All this stuff in campaigns was just so totally overrated.
Oh, okay. I'm doing it wrong.
Using its legend, wait for it, dairy power.
Alright.
The absolute evil destroyed the impediment with ease, and simultaneously eliminated a whole group of defenders. The road to the capital was now clear. The absolute evil did
My
not
Little
hesitate for
Unicorn,
even
lol.
1 nanosecond. Actually, the cowardly evil did hesitate. What would have waited in the city? The insidious evil entered King's Ending. A small, pitiful group of defenders stood in its way. Suddenly, the doors of several houses in the city opened, and with a loud roar, defenders bore down on the rather surprised. An ambush. And then suddenly, the absolute evil hit the ground. The day was saved, and good had triumphed. The Alliance lived happily
Oops.
ever after, whilst the defeated forces of evil had to eke out the remainder of their miserable existence underground. No, of course not. In reality, absolute evil was not defeated, but,
Huh? Pardon? Okay.
just took a little comfort. A short while later, it arose once again. The invincible evil had crushed the defenders. King's Ending had been defeated. But that's what it thought. Suddenly, the final heroes of the Alliance emerged from nowhere. Another ambush? Now, this was becoming very boring. But wait, this time it was different. Instead, the heroes raised their hands and started singing an incomprehensible chant. A magical ritual? This did not go well. When actually, it meant the arrival of good things, great things, unless you happen to be the absolute evil. Somewhere in the depths of the dungeon, the ultimate evil awoke. It did not know what had happened, nor why it had awoken, but it longed for revenge. The last remaining heroes of the country joined forces and cast a powerful banishment spell. The absolute evil disappeared from sight with a threatening gesture, and a faint whispered could be heard coming from its lips. The absolute evil had been banished, and its essence shattered into several pieces. Its reign of terror had ended. The good people of the overworld rejoiced, and an era of peace began for the Alliance. The evil creatures were driven back into the underground, doomed to serve as cannon fodder for pleasure-seeking adventurers. Meanwhile, secreted away in the world's most inaccessible places, the last remains of the absolute evil were resting, never again to see the light of the overworld. Until today, that is. Somewhere deep under the earth, the ultimate evil awoke. And the hand of terror arose, controlled by the ultimate evil. Come on, hand of terror, arise, damn you! Methinks that exploring the surrounding area would be a sensible strategy. However, to do this, light would be required. hand of terror flew through the throne room, following each and every thought the ultimate evil had. After a few flying sessions, the ultimate evil was able to control the hand with ease. The time had come to call forth creatures who were completely devoted to it and would the dungeon and spent their time taking care of it. The expansion-mad evil hired one snot on the spot. After very careful consideration, the ultimate evil now decided to recruit a little snot. The first little snot appeared. It was completely ready to work in the dungeon and to crawl in the dust before the ultimate evil. Little snots were important to the ultimate evil because they took care of many important little things, such as excavating new areas. The psionically gifted evil could sense the presence of something important that was buried to the south. It instructed its little snots to dig in that direction. As quick as a fart, the little snot made his way to the marked position and began to dig. Behold,
This is one
creatures
of
of
my
the
favorite
overjoyed
parts of the
evil
game.
had
As much as
apparently
the
been much more
RTS is
industrious than it
fun,
had thought.
I
A great
prefer the
dungeon was
dungeon
revealed
building
behind the
more.
wall. Everything was already in place. Doors, traps, a well-filled treasury. Oh wait, treasury? And where, if you please, is this treasury? Oh well. One can't expect too much of these mindless little snots. First of all, some gold had to be dug out to make space for a treasury to be created. The hand of terror swiftly marked a few small gold veins so that the little snots could excavate them. As soon as the gold vein was selected, a little snot immediately set out to mine valuable gold for the greedy evil. Once most of the gold had been mined, the Hand of Terror quickly created a treasury on the spot so that the precious metal could be safely stored. The clever evil mastered this task with flying colors. From now on, little snots could use the treasury to store mined gold. It was then at the greedy evil's disposal whenever more rooms needed to be built or new creatures recruited. Little snots were all well and good, but were too weak and cowardly to defend the dungeon. Since it was not able to defend itself, the ultimate evil would have to hire some orcs. But they would require food. Liquid food. Well, beer to be precise. So the next important thing to build was a brewery.
Oh, I do know that I'm pretty sure you can click and drag.
The ultimate evil had the feeling that its servants were not really putting their backs into the work. Might a hearty snap from the Hand of Terror change that? There was now an area cleared for the brewery site, and with quick finger snaps from the Hand of Terror, the room stood ready. of resignation, the overworked evil set about taking care of that too. Hard-working evil effortlessly built a brewing copper so the delicious beer could be brewed as soon as possible. One of the little snots started working on the brewing copper. The nostalgic evil banished all thoughts of Oktoberfest and brass bands. Those would have to wait. More important tasks had to be completed first. Both beer and gold were now available in the dungeon, so it was time to hire some creatures to defend against greedy heroes or whatever else snuck around underground. At present, it was only simple orcs declaring undying loyalty to the ultimate evil. The rest of the horde was scattered to the winds. Orcs were defensive, close combat specialists, capable of dealing with many opponents. However, they were very vulnerable to ranged attacks.
Ah, well.
Abysmal Evil used the Hand of Terror to grab several of the creatures that were still completely inexperienced at fighting, and threw them onto the spider's nest. Payday! An eerie gong rang through the hall. It did not bode well for the Ultimate Evil's treasury stocks, for at each sounding of the gong, the creatures would collect their undeserved wages. However, there was little it could do about this, as it was chained to the throne. Thus, it had to give free rein to its servants' desires, for the time being at least. The spiders dropped like flies. The strategically well-versed evil patted itself on the back, proud that it had led its troops into battle with such aplomb. And by led, I just simply mean chucking them at the enemy. The basics of a dungeon were now in place. However, the brewery was puny and didn't really have room to store beer barrels in, and the treasury was also anything but impressive in size. Quickly, the expansion-hungry evil, suddenly, one of the repellent evil's servants became very thirsty. This was typical of a troop member of the unanonymous alcoholics known
what do you
as
think
the
so
Horde.
far?
The Dipso made its way to the nearest brewery to quench his thirst. A thirsty orc arrived at the brewery. Eager and slavering, he started demolishing the alcohol-hoarding evil's stock of beer.
The evil has awoken.
In Dungeons
But its
3,
brothers
it
are
gives you
still
the options for Horde,
What on earth was
Undead,
that?
and
That's not in my
Demons.
script.
There's
Weirdo.
3 different
No matter. We'd better get
potentials
back
you
to
could
concentrating on the dungeon.
through research.
The creatures of the ultimate
Need to
evil
continue that
suddenly
campaign.
developed a craving for chocolate.
Yeah, I forgot there was an Undead DLC. No idea. I think it'll eventually tell you a bit more, but I don't remember. It's been a while since I played this one. I remember I loved it because it was entertaining as shit. If you take too long doing things, the narrator
A
normally kind
huge
of
monstrosity
anyway.
loomed out of the darkness on 8 legs. This dungeon's human guards had been ancient history for a long while. Now it was home to a huge spider.
More spiders. You need more orcs.
Would Sam and Frodo escape it and continue their journey to Mount Doom, or was this the end of the Ring Bearer? Hang on a minute, that's not the right text. Where were we? Oh yes, a huge spider, henceforth called the Spider Queen. It would be necessary to eliminate the Spider Queen before the Horde could reach the surface. The Spider Queen sent forth a wave of her children. Of course, the ultimate evil was fully aware of this danger, and immediately prepared to defend itself against them. Easy, that's what I heard. The snail-like evil was slow. So very slow. It took almost eons to create even one tiny bit of an orc army. Fortunately, at this very moment, some orcs fell from the heavens to strengthen the army. This was a miracle, and had absolutely nothing to do with the fact that a certain narrator had got hideously bored and was doing all he could to speed up the process. One louse-infested orc crawled up from the depths and declared allegiance to the ultimate evil. The first step towards the creation of a powerful army had been taken. The profound evil had had enough of dungeon sightseeing and now wanted to move to the surface to try a dish that is best served cold. Revenge. Some Alliance members were bound to be guarding the entrance to the overworld. A fine appetizer for a vengeful evil. attack. Payday.
I don't remember how many orcs I had to spam to just run down, just to sprint down there.
And another wave of spiders set out to destroy the ultimate evil. Apologies, but a narrator has got to earn a living too. So we interrupt this game for a short commercial message. Buy games from Calypso. Lots of games. Thank you. End of commercial.
How much HP does this thing have?
A lot. I had to run like 5 orcs down there in a group just to finally take it down.
The Spider Queen again sent her children out to attack the dungeon, even though this tactic had failed the last time. A certain AI programmer could really have made a bit more of an effort with this. The vile perversion, once called
Yay.
the Spider Queen,
It's
had
finally
nothing
dead.
more with which she could fight the Horde. Later, the sensitive evil would have her innards made into a lump.
I kinda can only make one at a time.
Was over. Now it was time to put those vengeance plans into practice. The vile evil wanted to take this opportunity.
Well, then
to utter a
you
really
make a
sinister
bunch
vow.
and have them
But
sit there.
unfortunately, its physical state made this
And I
unviable.
thought you could grab
Instead,
multiple at a
it
time. I'm
asked
not
the
sure.
narrator
Might
to
be a
do a bit
Dungeons
of
3
sinister
thing.
laughter on its behalf. Oh well, here goes. Deep breath.
Maybe only one at a time, which would be dumb.
Once the ultimate evil had
Yes.
escaped from the depths, vengeance on those who
That's
had done
frustrating.
this,
Maybe I should
heavily
just get rid of
supported
the
by its little snots. The first target was Paladin Robert, now King of the Alliance. He had withdrawn to the quiet surroundings of his hunting lodge. There, he would be the perfect victim.
This game is fun.
Yes, yes, it is. Oh, the rogues.
If Dungeons 3 is still on sale by the time I by the time I get money, I might get it.
That would be cool.
if it's still on sale.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do you think I should do a survival mode playthrough of Fallout 4?
Oh, that would
According
be
to scouts,
interesting.
King Robert spent most of his time strolling around his hunting lodge garden, reciting poetry. Soon his poetry would turn into mournful ballads. The vengeful evil thirsted to defeat the Alliance's king and mount his head on the wall as a trophy. Whoops, of course, I really mean that he wanted to take all of King Robert's cookies away. Better play it safe, or the age classification folks will be out. Before that, however, the ultimate evil had to do a bit of work on the dungeon. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to fund even a small army made up of a few orcs. The first treasury was completed. Soon greedy evil's little snots would fill it with gold. You know the golden rule, right? Whoever has the gold makes the rules.
Treasure there. Now where are you gonna put your beer garden? Ooh, you have a nice large hunk of gold in that next area behind there.
The first brewery was completed. Soon beer would be flowing like a river, and an Oktoberfest atmosphere would pervade all. Would the ultimate evil put the beer baron out of business? Ugh, such a duff reference. Right now, the restricted evil was only able to call upon orcs and little snots. But there had been rumors that some goblins were hiding out in a cave somewhere close by. The exploratory evil would be sure to follow this line of inquiry. The strategy guidebook, Dungeons for Dummies, says, mountains don't always just consist of rocks and stone, but may also include natural as well as artificial caves and ruins. These usually contain treasures and dangers to make digging around underground more exciting. solution, usually the only one.
Now to just wait and hoard gold.
Well, yes. And maybe make a room or two.
Yep. Ooh.
Oh, you kind of cut off your route to the gold behind your brewery.
Oh well, I found a whole bunch, like, right across from it.
Oh, yes.
The steady pounding in the rocks had given rise to
Still get to
overworld
it. You
rumors
can
of a
dig your
new
way there.
dungeon. A group of heroes set out to plunder its riches, and the ultimate evil was already looking forward to this visit. It's payday. Another orc entered the service of the military-savvy evil. The horde was growing and prospering.
I know, I gotta get more orcs.
You can never have enough works.
The heroes didn't know what had hit them, as several orcs bore down from nowhere and annihilated them. This group of heroes had plundered their last dungeons, but there would be more.
Gonna put another treasury here. Another brewery over there.
I honestly don't remember when you get new rooms. New buildable rooms.
Hmm.
Enemies have entered the dungeon. The time to attack appeared to be right. On the surface, in the tavern of a small, miserable village, some adventurers gathered. They were acquiring Dutch courage for their visit to the dungeon by downing several beers. The dungeon had to be destroyed.
sure you get the workshop on this level. God damn, you're making a mess of them.
Yep. Treasury.
You want gargantuan treasury, aren't you?
Yep.
Thought so. Yeah, you get goblins, which are for your workshop. The workshop produces... Oh, that allows you to make traps, if I remember correctly.
Internet's being dumb. Oh, I found a new room.
Rats.
Payday.
Oh, I got a trophy.
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Yeah, what trophy?
Little snot.
Don't know what that one does. Or what that one means.
Hello, NK Plus. Welcome to the stream. Wait, enemies have entered the dungeon. Where?
The top left. The giant gaping maw of doom is where the enemies come from.
Oh. I guess the Orc wants to kill them already?
Well, looks like you're in combat. those in the memory left. It's in the top left of your screen.
Oh. I can't read the numbers. They're too tiny.
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
361. Good. Oh. Keeps going up and down because of reasons. Enemies have entered your dungeon.
Payday. Snot is secretly making jokes about the ultimate evil behind its back. You should punish it. But I forgot which one it was. They just all look the same. There are enemies in your dungeon. It's payday.
The ever cheerful. What do I do with this?
Oh, that's a buff. Like, say, drop it on an orc and they'll never, like, strike or something like that because they're unhappy. In fact, never cheerful probably means that the character will never become unhappy. Damn it, one of you, stand still. Oh yeah, it's supposed to give it twin work. Any of your melee, any of your combat units.
Thrall has entered the dungeon. What do I do? Can I enslave the Thrall to do my bidding?
What now?
Oh, the chat.
Which Thrall are we talking about? Are we talking about World of Warcraft Thrall? Because if
Enemies
so,
have entered the dungeon.
he would probably try and kill you. Probably. Unless we're using Thrall by the general term.
payday.
Population points. How do I get those?